Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice. The host is Barb Schlinker. I'm Richard Randall, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, with the market being a bit slower, what most home sellers are wondering right now, with the market slowing down, is it still possible to get multiple offers on my home?
Well, yeah, Richard, I still do it all the time. It's all about price. And if you price it right, the buyers will come. The buyers actually know more about market value for their little micro market of the price range and area of homes that they're looking for than anybody else, including and especially real estate agents. Um, and a lot of people, you know, don't realize that even the ugly homes sell. There's always a price. I know I talk a lot about marketing and making sure the pictures look good and all that kind of stuff, but I have some listings that are not pretty, that are not in great shape. Some of them are post foreclosure, they've got walls torn out, they've got mold. They are selling with a bidding war. It's all about price, and there's a way to do it. I'm not saying you should, you know, price it like a house that needs a lot of work, but you should price your home according to whatever issues it has. As an example, if your home is next to another home and you have spectacular views and the other home, same size, similar home, does not, I already know the buyer's going to pay a premium for the house with views, but I would not price it higher for that reason. Because if you price it right on market value in that scenario, what's going to happen is the buyers are like, oh my God, I have to have it. And they come and make their best offer. Many times you'll see multiple offers in that scenario, and you'll end up getting the most money. The market always gravitates to what is full market value for that home. So you can either price your home to create massive, massive demand and lots of showings and have lots of opportunities for the buyers to want that home and compete with each other for the home, or you can price it high and let people slowly wander through the house and pick it apart and, well, I didn't like this or I didn't like that, or when you do that, what happens is it's a clue that the house is not priced correctly, and you'll be able to see it within 2 weeks of going on the market. It is not mysterious, because there's always a pent up batch of buyers out there ready to pounce on anything new and anything that's attractive for them in their price range. So one of the biggest mistakes I see home sellers make when they price their home is they price it a little high for quote negotiating room. And that's a massive mistake, because what happens is the buyers see that and they see other homes that represent a better home in better condition at a better price, and they just move on to that home, and your home sits unsold. So that's not a good idea. And what happens is the showings will slow down or become non-existent, or the buyers will give very uncertain, inconclusive feedback. The buyers will give very odd feedback, like, oh, I didn't like the floor plan. And I'm like, well, we published the floor plan. How did you not like the floor plan? You drove all the way out to see it. No, it's something else. And I think that's a real estate agent's lazy way out of answering it wasn't the right house for them. And if you end up chasing the market down, in other words, you price up here and that didn't work, and then you slowly go to here, and then you slowly go to here, according to the National Association of Realtors, not me, you're going to end up netting less money. If you want the most money, you got to price it aggressively out of the gate. So chasing the market down is not ideal. Also, got to talk about Zillow. Everybody thinks Zillow is the gold standard for homes, for home value, for homes for sale. And I'll be the first to admit, I know they have 65 to 70% of the buyer's eyes on that website. But where are they getting data? they're getting data from people like me who put homes on the market and market homes. I was actually looking at a home yesterday, Richard, with a seller, and his agent was doing what they normally do. You know, they put it in the Pikes Peak MLS. They follow all the rules exactly, and they share it with Zillow and Realtor.com and everybody else's websites. So I went and looked at just this website, just Zillow, to see how that home looked online. And I was going through the pictures, and I get all the way to the bottom, and the very last image was a link going, hey, new homes over here, click here, let me take you somewhere else to see these homes. That was on their own listing. So Zillow is trying to sell you to send you anywhere. They don't care about your houses. They don't know what your value is. They base their value on homes that have not sold, not the ones that have sold. A lot of people think they're the gold standard for value. A lot of people think that everybody cares about the number of views and saves, but at the end, it is an indication of interest, but it's not necessarily empirical data. And a lot of people don't realize that what Zillow really is, and this is going to, I am going to hear about this one. I believe all they are is a tech company that made billions of dollars as a lead generation platform for real estate agents. That's what they do. They take all the data they can, they plaster it on their website. They don't care if it's accurate or not. But the stuff from the MLS has to be accurate because those are MLS rules. However, what they do is if a buyer raises their hand and says, they click on that little blue button, and the blue button says, oh, would you like a tour? The next tour is in 15 minutes. Well, guess what? The buyer wants the tour. They don't want a real estate agent. But when they click on that blue button, they're going to get a random real estate agent that has never seen the home, that doesn't know anything about the home, that can't be bothered to even read the description. And I call them Pop-Tart agents, that they get a lead. Oh my God, I'm paying for these Zillow leads. I'm going to Pop-Tart out of the toaster, show up at the house, open the door for the buyer, and hope the buyer likes it. They don't even have to verify that they can buy per state law. Is that insane, Richard? I mean,
That
you're opening up your beautiful home thinking that that buyer showing up not only can afford the home, but that wants the home because of all the media that was put out by the listing agent. But heck no, You've got this overpaid door opener at the door doing the show up and hope game. Sorry, did I say that?
Well, the truth is there are so many things wrong with that, and I think you're right, Barb. People have got a certain expectation. They hear Zillow and it's the gold standard and all of that, but you talk about it, and I start to realize, and I think other people realize, there are a lot of flaws and problems there. It's not what it is represented to be.
And you know what? There are many different ways to sell houses. Just as an example, I sold a couple of them in the last month, and they did not go on the market to the public. We already had our own buyers, and we took care of it, right? And the sellers were happy. The buyers were happy. Buyers are especially happy because they got exclusive access to these homes that were good buys in good locations. And they didn't have to deal with, these sellers didn't have to deal with unqualified buyers tromping through their house, leaving lights on and doors unlocked and using the bathroom and not flushing and all the things that they typically do. They didn't have to deal with any of that stuff. And we make that happen for our clients all the time. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how do you get multiple offers and have that certainty that your home is sold. And next up, what we're going to talk about is the way to get the best buyers into your home. It's not what you think. And then we'll talk a little bit more about pricing. Richard?
Richard Randall, you are listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and she is Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can always reach Barb at 719-301-3900. And Barb, we're talking about how to get more than one offer on a home and be able to choose the very best buyer?
Well, Richard, it's not that easy to do it, but if you are the fortunate seller that's in the position where you can pick and choose your best buyer, oh my God, that is the catbird seat. You should be happy. So how do you do it? Number one, preparing, making sure that you have a strategy going in on how you're going to sell that home. Now, not everybody does it the same way, but generally, if you are priced right in the first 2 weeks of when you go on the market, that is the sweet spot where you're going to end up netting the most money. So first of all, the pricing has to be positioned to attract not just one buyer, but multiple buyers. Then it should be promoted right. But I have sold homes and gotten multiple offers without any inside pictures, just because the way the house was right before we started showing, there was too much stuff. We couldn't really make the photos work. So we just tested it to see how would it work out if we just did outside pictures and priced it realistically. It was the same result. We got multiple offers and it sold for over asking price. So to me, that's a clue. But how do you get the best buyers? Home sellers really aren't interested in dealing with random agents showing and agents beating them up on price and closing costs and repairs and on and on and on. To get the best buyer, at the end of the day, it's the seller that decides on the right price, right? And if the seller makes the right decision, all the stars will align. An example, I just sold one of my listings this past week where I already had a buyer. And so we were on the market and this buyer got in first. And I said, look, if you want to not have to compete with other buyers, you need to make your best offer. And they did, and the seller accepted it, and everything is going really well. We're already ready, basically pending, ready to close. And what happened is the seller priced it very realistically, but they ended up getting 10%, almost 10% more than asking price by doing that. That's the way you win. And I know it seems counterintuitive to a lot of people, but you want to make sure that you're picking the right agent that can walk you through that process. And if you don't want to deal with a traditional sale, we are one of the only brokerages in the state that will show up with multiple cash offers for your home. You could pick one of those. There aren't too many agents that show up with offers. It just doesn't happen that often. Most of the time, they might say, I have a buyer. I think I have a buyer. Wait for me. I have a buyer. What they really don't. We show up with actual offers, not just, I might have a buyer. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, give us a chance, and we will even guarantee a price range. If your home, we'll say, if your home doesn't sell within this price range, we will actually pay the difference. Give us a call at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, host of the program. And if you are thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how to sell your home for cash without showings, stress, or contract failures. Barb will explain.